Strap on your VR headset because we're about to transport you into the captivating world of Ghosts of Tabor. Welcome to Tabor Radio. Hey, welcome to this episode of Tabor Radio. Today we're joined with
another exciting one.
Oh yeah, and this one is, an OG. I'm surprised it's taken us this long in the podcast series to hit him.
Up to his elbows in freaking Tabor.
I can imagine it's not even a has-been. I imagine he still is, so I'm definitely grateful he's taking the time. But today we're joined with Reinaldo Vieira, maybe more commonly known as Ray. He's the Chief Development Officer and also the lead game developer for Ghosts of Tabor. Right. So this is a huge one.
It's a pretty big thing to have on your resume.
Oh, yeah. And this is a big one to have him on the show today and I guess get to know him and maybe what's coming next in Ghosts of Tabor. So, Ray, before I ramble too much, do you mind to introduce yourself a little bit better and tell our listeners exactly who you are?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. As you mentioned, I am the lead game developer. I was the first game developer here at Combat Waffle. Started building the game from scratch from our first pitch that Scott had envisioned. We worked to get that thing out there and start building the community from the get-go. I was approached by Scott. Do you want me to get into how?
Oh yeah.
Scott? Yeah. If you didn't, we were going to ask.
You can start when you were 16 if you want.
Okay. So prior to Combat Waffle, I was working on the metaverse. I worked at a company that they were building virtual events. And so we did, big events, like 300 people. And it was a lot of fun. And we worked with Unreal Engine. And there was always a side of me that was like, man, I wish I was in games. I wish, metaverse stuff is cool, but I'd really like to be in games. And I always had side projects in VR. So I started developing for VR since the Oculus Go. And at that time, it was already crazy hard. Ever since I put on the Gear VR, you guys remember that thing? That thing was nuts. I put that thing on, and I was like, what world is this? This is amazing. And I think it was around that time my interest in VR definitely peaked. So I had these side projects. When Scott hit me up to work on Ghosts of Tabor, I must have been as crazy as he was because, he told me and he was like, yeah, we need to do it in a year. And I was like, yeah, let's go, man. Let's do it. And we only realized months into it, they were like, man, we are so far from our goal if we have to release in 1 year. But we got very lucky along the way. So I had a vast experience of, multiplayer networking, dedicated servers, all that. So we taught the team as they came on how to work with all those technologies. And we got very blessed, to have the team that we have. So we built this game studio, right? And we have, brilliant minds like you've had in your interview before, Jonas, right? The CTO. So we had brilliant minds like that. All our game developers too, we're very blessed to have. And they helped us build this thing. And my role in all of this, I guess, is that I've just been making sure that we have, best networking code, everything is done in a correct way. The performance is there. And I make sure to introduce at least one bug per month because of job security. No, just kidding. We're definitely learning through all this process how to get better at QA and all of that, because our focus has been getting things out as fast as possible, and now we're slowing it down. But I kind of went into so many subjects there, and I know you guys asked me how I got here. I think I started when I was 14 years old. I loaded up QBasic, and it was like a text-based programming program in DOS, and I got hooked on that. So I started, I developed a passion really early on for for game programming because that's what I was doing with it. And I didn't pursue that as a career. I went into other fields. I went into like marketing and other IT related things like web development. And then so it wasn't until around 2015 that I got back into programming as an actual job, right? And then with Combat Waffle, I think it was man, I can't remember what year, but it was like 2 years ago or something when this project started.
Now, how did you and Scott's paths cross? That he would know to get in touch with you that
you were crazy enough to say yes.
Yeah.
So we got introduced through a mutual contact, and I think ever since I started talking to Scott, we would talk on Discord, and we just clicked, right? I just knew that like Scott was a cool dude, and I could understand what he was saying. Like I understood his vision, what he wanted. He was a no BS, or he is a no BS kind of guy, and so I kind of just, I'm like, yeah, this could work,
That's one, I think, the strongest traits of hearing it even from him, that, look, I'm approachable. We'll argue. You can tell me I'm fucking wrong. I'm assuming as long as you're right for the reason for saying that you're fucking wrong, but it's not this, like you feel reserved in your opinions, or you can't, voice something because you fear the CEO is going to come crashing down on you. So it seems like everybody that works there, which you said, you're blessed to have the team. I mean, it's everybody has their perfect purpose at Combat Waffle.
Yeah. And some of those side projects that you were working on kind of in the in between, prior to your metaverse work, were those just side projects to practice skill, or did you, release any games or anything like that? Any titles that somebody might know?
Not that anyone would know. No, I think the thing is, I'm a very ambitious person, and so my first project was like a local multiplayer top-down shooter. So imagine like Diablo, but as a shooter, right? And so I was working on that, and I was just like, every single feature that came to mind, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if? Yes, I'm doing it. And then I just like kept packing it on, and I think 3 years passed, and I was like, yeah, I'm nowhere near finishing this. And then you start, like, as a developer, as a creative person, you start thinking of other projects. So I started working on this Dragon VR flying game, and this was on the go at the time. And then the Quest 1 came out after, but Oculus was very tough when the Quest 1 came out, in that they said that you could only ship to the Quest platform if you had a PC VR title already out. And so when that rule came out, I gave up on it. I was like, this is never going to see the light of day. So I just shelved it. I'm currently working as well on a side project, but it's going to be for Combat Waffle. But I don't want to go too deep into it, but I think it's something that the VR community is lacking in right now.
Oh man, I
was going to ask, just because of the nature of the studio and how ideas seem to come to life in front of our eyes here, if there was anything kicking around that was going to get resurfaced. Or so I'm content knowing that. Yeah,
I don't need to know what, but just I'm getting the Spoon vibes with this, with like Spoon and Grim. It's like,
yeah,
I have a feeling there's some idea that you've had in the back of your mind for a while that's, you're ready to.
Well, and if it's something that the VR community hasn't, it's lacking or is needing, then it's something that we're probably not even thinking of.
So, you mentioned that.
Damn, man.
when you first hop on, you have this 1 year deadline, and
which is aggressive by all standards of everything. Yeah. That's just,
we can use the word ambitious. It's ambitious to say the to say the least. But do you want to take us through that process a little bit? You mentioned that you got a little worried for a bit, and then things all came together. I mean, look at the end product, right? But well, not the end product, the current product.
Mm-hmm.
Things came together. But yeah, do you want to take us through that? What I can imagine is intense 12 months.
Yeah, definitely. I love to. So when the project started, right? We didn't really have a project manager. We didn't have all this structure, right? So I just came up with a 12-month plan. And it was funny. I was like, yeah, so month 1, we're gonna make the guns. Month 2, we're gonna have, or month 1 and 2, we're gonna have all the network replication basics there. So we took it chunk by chunk. We planned out the months, right? But then we slowly started realizing that well, okay, month 1 is over, but we haven't really accomplished this thing here. And it's also when I didn't have all the details to start with, because we started so fast. We started on this project so fast that it was there wasn't much of a planning phase. We had a plan. We had a very short script. This is what we're making. Go. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then so that was what I based my estimates on. But then all of a sudden we're like, but wait, it's not like we're making 6 guns. No, we need 80 guns. We need all these types of bunker upgrades and all these all these features. And they kind of, and also one of the things that happens during every game's development is feature creep, right? And so we always had a lot of these moments when we're like, wouldn't it be cool if, and then they're like, yeah, let's do it guys. And in looking back at that, we're like, yeah, we probably wasted a month or 2 just on that feature, right? But it was guns blazing the whole time. And it's always been very exciting though, despite all that crazy crunch that we go through. We actually released this game in October of last year, because that's when our alpha program started going out to the the alpha testers. And it was at that point that life changed for all of us, because when October came around, we started seeing all these people with all these different types of headsets, with these HTC Vives with their controllers, and they're like, yeah, this button doesn't work on the Vive. And we're like, oh, well, none of us have a Vive. It's so we had to we had to learn how to listen to the community, how to manage what they were saying, separate the bugs from what was just something that somebody wanted. And I think to summarize those 12 months, it's just been a constant learning process, of how to manage time, how to manage resources. And Scott has been great in providing the greatest resource of all, which is, humans. And so we've been able to employ more people, and that has helped us tremendously, because everybody was at a point always spread so thin that having more able bodies and finding the right person, the right people to fit our culture was also a bit of difficulty during those 12 months, because we're a very tight-knit group. We stay on Discord all the time. If anyone runs into any sort of development issue, we go ahead right on the spot, hey, I'm blocked on this, or I don't understand how this works, right? We expect people to speak up immediately. And so we had during the development people that would just be stuck, and they're just looking at their keyboard, right, and don't talk to anybody. And we're like, I'm sorry, man, it's not going to work out that way. We need people that are proactive. And that's the team we have now. It's all just rock stars that communicate and know how to work as a team.
Well, everybody we've spoken to has that same passion.
They all love the game,
obviously, which I think everybody can have the drive for something if you have the right motivation or the person driving the team to get the best out of everyone. But no doubt, everyone that we've talked to from Combat, it's like the perfect team of people. And again, I wouldn't say it's your normal corporate-y structured environment, but it pays off because you look at the end result. You're doing things that most people would say, no, you can't or shouldn't do something like that. But now the results, I mean, the Discord community we saw this morning, over 75,000, continues to grow every single week. I mean, it's got to feel super special being there from day one to look at what you all started with to where you are now, with the studio growing, new studio coming, more games in development that are coming that have been released. God only knows. Yeah, game of the year, and it's not out on the official store till next year. That is probably the biggest game of the year win I've ever seen any game, because I don't have any example of that ever happening before.
And it's easy to look at the end result now and hop on and say, oh, I want to be a part of the team, or I want to be a part of this project. But
from day one.
So what was it about Scott or Ghosts of Tabor, the concept of the game? What about it sold you and made you willing to take that chance?
I love shooter games. I love VR. I was already a big Pavlov player at that time, so I was already into VR shooters. But this concept of bringing something new, right? We're completely different from that game. So I definitely understood that it was lacking, and that there was a great opportunity to be had in working on that. Yeah, I think that's what definitely sold me. It's just being a VR gamer and having the ability to work on a VR game like this.
Well, it seems like everything Combat Waffle's doing is things that aren't in saturated markets, or they're new conceptual experiences they're going to do. So I'm just curious if you think, do you believe it's always going to be that way, where the team's always going to be looking for the thing that
hasn't been done yet?
Correct. Or like what you have as a side project as well.
I mean, I from what I've seen, I think that's a formula that works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we have a formula that works. I think just keep going with it is a sure way to, continue success. We look at a lot of other games, and I don't mean to shoot them down. Like, I see a lot of brilliant, creative games out there, but it's just not what people want. Like, no one's asking for this brilliant, creative things that people are bringing, and it's like I don't know if it's sad or what, but like, it's just like, it's not what people want. You have to give the people what they want, right? And so the VR market is still in its infancy, right? Like, you mentioned the VR awards, right? And while we were there, it was great. It's such an honor to have received it. It still felt small, right? Like, you compare it to the Game Awards or something else like that, which is much bigger, right? The VR market is small, and it's still growing. And as we grow, I think the best way to grow it is to give people what they want, right? You just be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if that game was in VR, right? And it's like, oh, wait, I play that game. Let me go buy a VR headset to play it in VR now, right? I think that just makes sense.
Oh, totally. And I mean, look at it with Grimm, with Russ, and Silent North has quite the hype to it as well. So, no,
we're getting teasers finally. So
yeah, I'm hyped for not only Ghosts of Tabor, but again, the future of Combat Waffle
as a studio. I think we called it like 8 months ago. It's like, this is a studio that's they're not going anywhere. They're going nowhere but up. They're going to be a dominating force but I also understand, I mean, there's so much risk involved with going into VR. I get why people piggyback on others as much as it happens, because it's like, if I can make just a little bit, then I can hopefully have enough funding to move on and maybe make a better product, where Combat Waffle from day one has been like, no, this is what we're making. And
I also think the reality is that in order for VR to hit the bigger size award shows, it takes games like Ghosts of Tabor that really push the industry.
Let people know
forward.
you can do it.
Yeah. I mean, a game like Ghosts of Tabor is one of those industry growers for sure. And, today in, the end of 2023, the team's grown a bit. I'm sure your role, your daily, responsibilities and stuff have shifted a bit. Are you still hands-on, programming the game, or you've taken more of like an overseeing role of the team?
I'm definitely still very hands-on. I love programming, and I like working closely with the people that I work with. So I manage, the game developers, but I also make sure that their code is up to standard. We have a lot of great new people as well, like as you mentioned, Spoon, right, who I also share knowledge with, and also the developers, even some of the newer ones. It's like we never stop learning, so sometimes I even learn from them. But yeah, I'm still very much hands-on, even though they tell me I shouldn't be. I should be managing more, but I just can't help it. I just got to keep coding.
That goes back to the passion and the love everyone on the team has. It's like they can't keep you away if they wanted, you probably,
as long as the percentage of management is far greater than the amount of coding time, I could see turning a blind eye to have somebody happy and enjoying it.
If they didn't let you, you'd probably do it in your free time. That's the vibe I get from that.
Oh, and it's a language. You want to stay fresh with it.
Correct.
Things
and,
change.
Know what's going on inside your baby, So
I really want to know, like, in some of those points where you guys were doing hot fixes or like really cramming, or there was an update that came out and it didn't necessarily, get launched. What was that energy like with the amount of people that were trying to work out these fixes in real time to get it out there?
It was a gut-wrenching experience, to be honest. Like, because the worst thing to us as people that care about the game is seeing other people have issues with the game, right? And then you hear that it's like it's not one or two people, it's hundreds, thousands, and then you're like, oh man, like this is awful. Like, and the community, oh geez, they're very understanding. Like, I mean, like if I was a gamer, I would have said like, you know what, screw this game, I'm out of here, man. You guys are done to me. But like, there's been people that stuck around like through our hardest of times, and I was just like, wow, like these people really like this game. And so I think that always encourages us to do our best. But yeah, we've those hot fixes have been rough, and we had one of the things that kept me up a lot was we had a lot of crashes. And to me, that was the worst thing because, as a gamer, you're playing a multiplayer game with consequences, right? You have not real life consequences, obviously. That would really suck. But you have your loot, and it's like it's not real life, but it sort of is because you've put in time, right, to reap those rewards, and then the game crashes, and those percentages were so high, and we were just like, man, we got to fix this for months and months. And then we finally have the game now where it's super stable. Our biggest crashes have been resolved. It's not crash free, obviously, but we are working towards that, as much as it can be. Those are always things we try to get into those hot fixes as well. But yeah, man, those hot fix times. One of the things we're trying to do is, and there's only one way to do it, really, is not slow down development, but give more time between updates so that those hot fixes aren't needed as much. They've been vetted more, right? But it's because we're so ambitious, right? And we want to get so many things out. We're so eager that sometimes those hot fixes are required so often too.
Well, again, I'll go back to the aggressiveness is it's a little higher than norm. So I mean, I get it. And I'd say the communities, people who've been around a long time, they just go with the flow. They know, and they know something's going to come, and it would get fixed, or that issue would go away. And
well, I think that the speed of fixes and updates also puts a level of faith that the community has that, look, if something does go wrong because you try to add something new, the developers are going to be quick to fix it. I mean, historically.
And they've always been transparent. So I think that's one of the reasons why the community has always stood by Combat Waffle, is because it's been open and honest with, like, if something didn't work, it's not like, it works fine.
Yeah, we're
it's just a few, into it. No, it's like it's taken serious. I've seen it in the announcements, like, hey, I know we just did this, but this specific thing happened and it's already being fixed. And
yeah, I mean,
like, holy Moses,
the community is quite something.
That's why I wanted that energy. Not that I would wish having to do like quick fixes on anything, but just to feel the energy from each person involved in the conversations, if the vocal tones that are going on and the phone calls, and it's just got to. So I wouldn't wish it on someone, but I would think going through it and coming out of it and having results that have worked because of it only makes the team stronger.
You can hear it in their voice whenever anybody on the team has talked about an issue. It's like you can hear the genuine disappointment about it, like the crashes. You're talking about it there. You sound, even though it's in the past, you just sound bummed that it ever even existed, And, there's been times that we talk with Scott, and an issue of people glitching through the wall or finding a way to cheat drives him freaking nuts. But for the most part, I mean, knock on wood, we were just talking about it the other day. The game is very stable for us right now. It's running smooth. It looks nice on the Quest 3. It looks real good. So there's a couple times that you referenced, like the Gear VR, the Oculus Go. Are you playing mainly on standalone VR, or are you a PC VR user?
I play only on the Quest 2, or I do play PC VR during tests, but yeah, my Quest 2 and now the Quest 3 is my go-to for Ghosts of Tabor. I just like that convenience, sitting on the couch and in gaming, or stand up real quickly if it gets serious.
I love to hear it. We're Quest users as well too. So
the freedom is what I love the most.
Quick boot up, you just boom, put on the headset, good to go. But I love to hear, that the lead game developer, he's using a Quest as well. So
and
won't be ignored.
And a few more headsets are just sold.
Yep.
Yeah. The Quest 3, I think, is going to be incredibly popular. So you're still playing on a Quest 2, or you play on the Quest 3 now?
I try to play more on the Quest 3, but I still have to. Like, I'm obligated personally to play on the Quest 2. Like, no one obligates me. I obligate myself to play on the Quest 2, because I know that that's still what the majority of our players are using. And so it's good to experience the game how they're experiencing it firsthand.
Makes sense.
Just that extra level of care that people are putting into.
Yeah, that level of commitment.
And it makes sense.
Real.
It if something's going to happen, maybe I can see it from the same device that people are having it happen on.
Yeah, it takes restraint. It would take some restraint to not throw on the Quest 3 if I was on
100%. 100%. Or the most jacked up PC VR you've ever seen.
Yeah.
The hell out.
So. Yeah, the tracking's so nice on the Quest 3.
But, you guys are pretty relentless with updates and fixes and stability things. But, that UWU DLC drop, the new end raid screen, which I love.
Yeah,
the nice detailed breakdown, So you guys, even in a period where you're focusing more on fixes and stuff, still bringing new content and updates. I understand if you can't go too in depth, but I'd be foolish to not ask. Is there more things that users can expect to come early into the new year?
I think our main goal for our official launch sometime next year. I don't think I can say the date, but sometime next year.
Oh, sure. Sure you can, man.
Hold on. Let me check. We're focusing on making the game, even though there's still a lot of more features to come, we are focusing primarily on the experience as a whole, trying to polish it, right? So that you can feel like you're in a finished game, even though it's not yet finished and there's still so much to come. We want to get that experience, right? I think we're making that extra step. And it's funny that it hasn't been mentioned as often now, but I think we're at the final stretches of fixing the jank, as it was so infamously called. Right, we're trying to get rid of that jank just to make it feel like, players deserve it. You're in a game, and it's as close to finish as possible. Even though it'll never be finished, there's always going to be new content, new save files, upgrades, new things for you, new guns, right, new gear, new armor. There's always going to be stuff like that, but perhaps new missions, who knows? But perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our focus right now.
No, I think it's perfect. I mean, it makes total sense.
Mhm.
There's enough
content.
There's enough content right now in its form that, I just wonder how much restraint you all have as a group to not want to fight the urge to put more shit in there when you need to focus on we're here to just polish it up, make sure everything, when everyone's fiending to add more content versus so that should be a fun challenge. But I look forward to I really look forward to that store release because of the people who, I love knowing that we played it so long ago and we've seen the transition and we've lived through minor headaches and found workarounds for others before fixes came. But
they're going to put that shit on the on the store homepage.
They're
going to put that right on the homepage when you load in with a big
that first time user that's going to go in there and have that much in front of them. It's going to be pretty incredible with no real appreciation either for how
far
quickly
it's come.
I still throw it out there. I'm like, this game still isn't like technically released on the official store. It's like you gotta, and the level of value you have for it goes up even higher at what you've accomplished with a game that's on App Lab.
Yeah, I think so much of that quote unquote jank going away. It's like the legs look great when they move. I think that type of stuff makes people think jank if they like cross and stuff like that. So that's working great. The grab all looks great or works great too. It's like loading up your gun. I mean, how could you say janky when it has the best reload mechanics in VR, some of the best gun physics,
down to the angle of the clip going in.
Yeah, but for yourself, maybe you're a perfectionist. I kind of get that impression a little bit. In your mind, what's a finished product with bug fixes? Like, what are some things that you're still itching to have ironed out before an official store launch?
Working really hard to improve the IK. And keep in mind, though, we say that we're only working on polishing, but we do have some teams, some team members that are working on new features, completely new features while all of this is happening. They're just not allowed to put it into the game yet. So
no breaking anything.
Yeah, they're just there like, Auntie, like, can I push it yet? Like, no, not yet. Just wait. But yeah, we want our IK to look better. We've made great strides with performance, so I think we're good on that front. I think in a couple more patches, you guys will reap the benefits of that, especially on the Quest, where the performance is always a good thing to optimize. And more crash fixes, really. Get those last few, crashes that aren't as often now, but, they still happen and they're still there in the analytics and they still bother us. So I think getting those out of the way, maintaining the product as stable as possible is our number one goal right now.
Well, and having it be stable on a multitude of headsets, where that's where the balancing act gets a little. I could see like if you focused all in on like I'm just going full bore
just
on
the
just the Quest. You know? but to have to deal with the issues that the quest would pose to the
HTC Elite, the Index, and just the list goes on.
It's super tricky. I'm not gonna lie. Anyone that says otherwise is lying, man. It's super tricky because in PC gaming, all you have to do is like support Windows or something, right? It's like, and with VR, no, you got to support like this headset and that one and that one and that one and that one, and they all have different controllers. And you're like, dude, like who came up with this?
Oh, that's funny. And at this point, there's multiple maps, day and night mode, so there's plenty of content, I think, to hold people over.
Just the bunker upgrades from the last major one wasn't more than enough to kill some time.
But I love the visual that there's this team with just a backlog of content just waiting to test out and try to put in. So it's like as soon as not the vision, but the plans change a little bit and it's back to, all right, let's pump in some stuff. You have quite a bit to weed through and choose from. So love to know that the team's hard at work. But with there being, 3 different maps, day mode, night mode, what's your favorite map to play on?
That's a good question. It depends, really. I don't think I have a favorite. I have like a one for each mood that I'm feeling. So if I want to get into more of like a death match kind of experience, I will go into Missile Silo because that's where you're gonna have a faster time to kill experience, right? Or time to get killed experience. Man, I had some hilarious experiences in Silo. Like once I was just going into the elevator secret stash room, right? The one you got to open, and shooting at this guy, and he was like, I'm unarmed. I was like, all right, cool. I put down my gun and just came in, and as soon as I came in, he just stabbed me in the head. It's like what?
Even the developers caught being too nice.
Yep.
You can never trust anyone in this game.
I think it was after that I was like, yeah, that trust no one thing. Yeah, that's for sure, man. You can't trust even the squeakiest of voices. You can't trust.
Screw that. If you ask me, the squeakiest of voices is the ones I trust the least.
You know what though? I base it on the tone because we've been turned against. I had my hands up and everything as we were just walking past each other. And then he just reached down, pulled a gun out, and shot me in the head.
Mm-hmm. That was very early into you playing,
but if I hear the genuine like vibration of the voice, like the person's nervous, they don't want to get killed, or they, they already got robbed once and were allowed to live and had nothing. I'll throw the compassion their way. But I know you're more prone to be as soon as he walks in, I'm going to shoot him.
Bullet in the head.
I'm like, no, did you hear the voice? He's not going to hurt us.
I don't care. Rather hurt him than him hurt us.
But most of the developers and or people from the studio we talk to have no, I'm going to fucking shoot you on sight. Mm-hmm. You can scream, beg, whatever. I'm going to kill you. And I'm still taking your stuff. So you don't even have to offer it to me.
So with that being said, do you play solo or do you play usually in a team?
I play solo. So it's... Yeah, it's intense. And so I like Silo for that. And then when I play Island of Tabor and you play solo, sometimes I feel like I'm playing a horror game because it's like you have to watch like every single corner you turn, every single noise. You're like, what was that? Like it's tense, man. It's just like it's a heart racing experience playing, especially that one.
If he dies, I get anxiety. I don't like playing.
No, I feel like I'm being watched.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes when I'm on Tabor Island, like I legit feel like if I were walking down the street and being followed, like I'm being hunted, and I know I am, and I know someone's using line of sight in their favor to be behind. You can sense it.
And there's been times I have to go through like 3 or 4 different fights after you die, or vice versa. I die. Now you got to make it to the extraction on your own.
Yeah, it gets the heart racing.
Whole different game, if you ask me. It doesn't even, it's
You just lost your buddy, dude. Yeah, it's a whole different game.
Well, and playing solo, it's just you got no one to watch your back.
Solo is that kicks up my stress level.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And are you more of a loot hunter? Or are you going for the blood? You're going for the kills?
I go for both. So I try to get more gear, right? That's my primary focus for looting, right? Getting more gear just so I can keep playing and not have to spend money in the store. That's what I go more for. But I think definitely, I'm definitely like I was big on those like Resident Evil games, so that's why I play solo because I pretend I'm playing Resident Evil games. Everyone's a zombie or something, but with a gun.
That's awesome. If you ask me, the name of the game is Stay Alive, so I'm a loot guy as well.
Well, we'll even say it sometimes. Like it might be a quick run, but like, look, we're leaving with
two more guns.
Yeah, more shit than we came in with. We're not dead yet.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I ate some bullets.
Let's just go back to the bunker and then we can go back in. But that's a success to me. I don't have to wipe the server.
And do you keep yourself honest? Because I heard you say getting money, so you don't load yourself up with infinite money or anything like that. Even as one of the lead devs,
little infinity symbol.
Keep it honest.
We definitely don't, and that's heavily frowned upon here at the studio. Like we early in the days during our testing, we had to do it. So it was like, yeah, I'm going in, I'll give me like, load me up with 1,000,000 Karunas and, I'm good to go. But now it's like, no, you can get it. You can earn it yourself,
No, that's fair. I like knowing though that the team themselves after a wipe, it's like, hey, we're
all in the same field. Yeah.
I'm sure you got the good DLC, but
there was a video though, when I think, I don't know if it was like when the game launched or before, but me and being another dev from the studio, we actually had, loaded ourselves up with the highest tier loot, and we still got killed. And someone recorded it. Someone was streaming it on YouTube, and I found the video and I showed him later. I'm like, look, they even humiliated us.
They did things to us.
Skill above all, it goes to show you that,
I imagine getting a bag of dev loot though.
And I think the game is the most fun. Like it's cool though. I like the wipe events, with like unlimited money and stuff like that. But to me, most of the fun of the game is unlocking stuff, going out, extracting and everything
finding
like that.
Good stuff.
So I think if you did cheat a bit internally and load up infinite money, and you'd be kind of ruining your own game for yourself, and
for sure.
You can definitely hear that you all are fans of the game, and is this the main VR game you're playing right now, or do you play other VR games as well?
Or the ones he can't say he's playing?
Correct. Yeah.
This is my main game. I'm still very much into a game called Pavlov VR. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
Yep.
I think the experiences are different. So I go into Ghosts of Tabor because it has the progression, because it has, this whole intense feeling that I don't think any other VR game can deliver to me. And I will play, Pavlov just to get a quick, run and gun type thing, right? Where I don't have to loot and stuff like that. But, I think I still enjoy the fact that I know that with Ghosts of Tabor, obviously I'm suspect to say, but I know that with Ghosts of Tabor, we have a long road ahead and so many new features that are coming. And, I think what keeps a lot of people into a game is progression, right? And so knowing that, you're going to have progression, and the more time you put into a game, you're going to get something out of it. Even if there is a wipe, you're going to get skill from that, knowing every nook and cranny of a map is definitely going to be beneficial during the next wipe.
Ooh. No, and I love to hear that, the developers are fans of VR, other shooters, whether that's Pavlov or Breachers, you guys aren't scared to say just because it's a different shooter that, you don't ignore them or pretend they don't exist. Like, no, those are great games as well.
Love Breachers got in the new map?
Yeah, there's a breacher sign right in there. There's a lot of games shown off on that map, but most of them are Beyond Frames games, shared publisher. But even like breachers, boom. You guys love the game. Scott loves the game. Boom, show them off. So, yeah, I love that. The team isn't scared to.
I don't think they have to be either.
No. When you know how good your product is, you see the results, the community. Yeah, there's no competition.
And you're the first to do it.
Yeah, there's no.
That's what makes it even more special. It's like you're doing it, but you're the first to do it.
And are you playing Grim and Silent North as well internally?
Yes, I actually. So I wasn't big into the category of games of survival games until Ghosts of Tabor, and I find myself like wanting to play that more now after Ghosts of Tabor, and so Grim, takes it. I wouldn't say like further, but it takes it to a different turn, right? Where you have the crafting and stuff like that. And so that game is tremendously interesting. It's funny because like not to hate on any game, but like I'm not an art guy. I'm not a Rust guy. I try to play those games. And I'm like, why do I need to eat? Why do I need to build a base? Like I already have to build a base in real life, man. Like, but in VR, it's just I don't know. It's just fun. It's like you're building it and like you see it there. You're looking like, wow, I'm like actually in here. So it's definitely fun playing those games. Silent North still has a long road ahead, but I'm definitely excited for it because it's gonna have zombies and everybody loves that thrilling experience running from zombies trying to survive. And and again, it's like it's different from Ghosts of Tabor, right? It's you have the survival mechanics, but it's taken to a different level, right? So I'm very excited for both of those games.
I know Stratus over here, he's very excited for Grim.
Oh yeah, I send Spoon messages probably monthly. What's going on, brother? What's the good word in the program world?
He's a genius. It's a blessing to have him with us, Like I said, with every developer. But Spoon helped us out actually behind the scenes a lot on our game development. So there was times, that I just couldn't figure something out, and I would just get like a random message from this guy. I'm like, who the hell is Spoon Fed? Why is he DMing me? He's like, hey man, this issue you're having, like you just have to do this and that. I was like, oh, thanks, random stranger on the internet. And with time, like eventually, I think like he helped us out so many times that it was just like the obvious step was, for Scott to hire him and for us to have him as part of Combat Waffle.
Well, I think Scott called him a unicorn. But then again, I think all the staff he refers to as unicorns, more or less, because they're all magical. They're all good at what they do. But I heard Spoon is definitely a little next level, though. He's seeing Matrix shit.
Yeah.
Hard work with Ghosts of Tabor and
Grim.
But now I'm excited for whatever we might see from Ray in the future, whatever is in his brain.
Oh, I can't wait to know what that is.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, wait a couple of years. Combat Waffle, when they have multiple titles released, it's going to be intense. It's going to push the industry forward.
You put it on record that they'll probably be Studio of the Year next year or the year after.
That was my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
Game of the Year in
if every game
access.
you do is going to hit Game of the Year, then you guys are going to need a lot of trophy and award space in the new studio. Might need to expand just the showroom.
For sure. But something I love to ask every person from the team that we get on the show is for new players or players that, quite frankly, maybe they're just not the best. They're losing all their loot. They keep dying. Oh no, things keep going wrong. Do you have any tips for new or struggling players?
Yeah, definitely. I would say don't play it solo. Don't be like me. Don't be an idiot. Find a group of friends, on the Discord that can team up with you. And that is your best chance for survival. Together we're stronger. So that definitely holds true in Ghosts of Tabor. And that being an obvious tip, another one is one of the things I tend to do a lot is I'll play missile silo for the loot, right? So you go in naked into missile silo, right? Don't take any gear or take just like a pistol. Try to come up with some stuff and keep amassing stuff, right? And then go into the harder maps like Island of Tabor, right? Or Maka. I think that's a good strategy to follow.
So to you, Missile Silo is the easiest map for a solo player?
It's not that it's the easiest, but it's the fastest. So when trying to amass loot, you could, if you're only bringing a pistol, you're not risking much, right? If you bring a pistol into Island of Tabor, it every match is varied, right? It depends on the amount of NPCs and the amount of players you're going to run into. But a missile silo is going to be faster, so the amount of time you have to amass loot will be faster in missile silo, but not necessarily easier. It's just faster. You'll either survive faster or you'll die faster, but you'll risk very little if you only bring a pistol.
That makes sense. And I also feel like there's much more distance to travel in like Tabor Island to potential loot spots. Not that it's significant. I mean, you can find loot everywhere, but missile silo is definitely a little bit more compact.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, you're probably going to find an NPC to kill and get their guns at the very least super fast.
I got freedom on the island. I can I'm pretty limited in that silo.
Yeah, we like the island a lot for sure. I love the new map. I love Maka, but I'm always
that one's I get more spy vibes in that one because again, feeling like I'm being watched everywhere I go. But that one because it's more, it's freaking buildings and shit. So I'm always worried there's going to be someone tucked around a corner. And again, line of sight, it's everywhere.
Yeah. And
beautiful map though. Jesus.
Everybody has their go-to spots. We love the docks. I love to go to the docks. And then also
the house. For
yourself, do you have any go-to spots that you load in? Like, I got to hit this.
So there's times in Island of Tabor where I just want to player hunt and I just want to shoot each other, and so I try to get to the church as quick as possible. I know the spawns changed recently, but previously that used to be the case where I know that rough area of the church, the graveyard close to the prison camp, and the prison camp was a very good place to have encounters at. So those were usually the areas where I would head to when I'm looking for those kinds of experiences. But I think the one you mentioned, the pier, right, is a good place to wait for people because of those windows, right? And I find that I'm not the only one that does that. I on multiple occasions, you'll see other players, camped on those windows just waiting for someone to extract. And it's always fun engaging, even if you're at the window or you're on the other side. That's always an exciting spot to engage at.
So I know some people aren't the biggest fan of camping and such, but yourself, you have no moral dilemma against it.
I normally do not like games where people camp. It's like, what the hell? But this isn't.
I've camped in the docks
camping
before.
Dude. It's not camping though.
I've done it.
It's not camping.
It's fun.
Different game.
It's fun.
There's no walls closing in on me. There's no red zone closing in. I'm in this house because I know there's other people out there. And fuck you, I'm going to wait until I see one walking over and then we're going to shoot him. But it doesn't feel like camping, even when it's happened to me. If I go into a place and I always stop and listen, do I hear any sounds? And then I step real quiet and then I get shot in the head. I'm not upset at the guy. I'm like, I would have done the same thing.
So yeah, you don't consider it dirty or anything to
not
camp
at all.
In this game?
Not in Ghosts of Tabor. Any other game, yeah, I'm probably gonna be pissed off. Like, fucking camper. But in this game, I get it. It's like this is survival at its. And if I want to leave, I can go to an extraction point. But yeah, I might have spent some time on the docks trying to hide.
Yeah. So you might have been one of those guys.
I might have been one of those guys. I might have accidentally hid behind the vending machine once and took a guy out because very few people go past I might have left weapons out. Like we do that a lot. We'll try to set traps, like put a wicked good gun out where if you walk by it, you have
Let
to
me write that one down. Hold on. That's a good one.
And then we have the line of sight from 2 different areas. So yeah, we baited. How can you not?
Yeah.
Look, here's a stacked backpack waiting for you. Just come get it. Works.
It's part of the game, right? It's the genre, right? You want to loot, so other people are just moving loot, right? So you have to use that to your advantage.
I just hate when we kill someone and they have nothing. They have like literally nothing, and I'm like, could have had a stone fight with this guy. Too funny.
Maybe that's a feature we need to add. Throwing rocks,
slingshot.
Last ditch.
Yeah.
It'll just disorient you, piss you off, but it won't give you like a kill,
When in doubt, keep a couple rocks in your backpack. No, but great stuff. Ray, we know everybody at the Combat Waffle team, hard at work.
Up to their necks and work every day.
Yeah,
they don't stop.
To say the
I'm
least.
assuming you guys are taking some holiday time off.
knowing the Combat Waffle team. Yeah, I was going to say, who knows? I'm sure that
we're closed for 12 hours.
See a patch dropping on January 2nd or something like that. So, we're definitely appreciative of you, taking almost an hour to talk with us today. Get me in a Tabor mood, to say the least. I'm thinking I'm going to have to jump in after this for a couple of rounds.
Do a couple of rounds.
But definitely appreciate you coming on, Ray. Before we wrap this show up, is there anything else that you wanted to say for the listeners? Maybe, I don't know, any message for them? Maybe anything else that's coming? I think we already touched on that. So yeah, anything else you want to say?
Not trying to cause problems.
No. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for having me here, and for everyone listening and watching. Definitely stay tuned because there's a lot of things coming. And even though I said we're focusing more on polishing, that doesn't mean that, we don't have all those features that we're still building on the side. As soon as that thing comes out, we are already like, well, those features are going to go in pretty soon as soon as that happens. So,
like you
stay
said,
tuned.
Team's still working on making new stuff. So even if it's not added in yet, just know that the team's still hard at work. Yeah, I have an idea. I have a feeling that ideas are not in shortage at Combat Waffle. I have a feeling that's the easy part. Implementing them and making them is probably what will hold them up. But thank you again. Thank you again, Ray, for joining us today. This was a great interview. For the listeners, stay tuned for the next episode, the first of every month. Let's see who we get on for the next one. It's easy to see why Ghosts of Tabor and Combat Waffle Studios is as successful as it is when you hear from the OGs of the studio.
Catalog of people we've spoken to. You just the same passion, same energy.
A true all-star
team.
No
one blinking SOS.
So yeah, it's definitely good to get the insight into how greatness happens. So thank you again, Ray, and for the listeners, stay tuned for the next one.
Take care.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.